What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I go by Zombie. I'm very passionate about spirituality, specifically astrology, and one of my main goals of this channel is to basically be able to show people how self-improvement and spirituality really go hand in hand. So if you're interested in any of that, or maybe just becoming a better version of yourself, go ahead and hit that subscribe for me, and let's hop right in. So, in this series, I've been running through the 12 signs of the zodiac. The last sign is Pisces, the 12th. And if you were born anywhere from February 19th through March the 20th, then you are considered a Pisces. Now, Pisces is ruled by the planets Neptune and Jupiter. In astrology, we use the term ruled to basically just denote the fact that signs personify the energy that, the ruling planet is associated with. And so with Neptune, you have the subconscious. It can be seen as confusion sometimes because Pisces are dreamers. Like they really can drift off into their own world sometimes. They might be seen as ADD or ADHD, Sag as well, and Sagittarius people as well, is what I mean. And it's because Neptune and Jupiter, again, they're very spiritual, they're very like subconscious oriented planets. The energy is very subconscious, subconsciously oriented. Pisces, it's the opposite sign is Virgo, right? Virgo's ruled by Mercury, so Virgos are naturally more adept when it comes to communication and things of this nature because the planet Mercury is related to the mind, right? However, with the Pisces energy, Virgo pretty much represents the left brain, the logical and analytical thinking side of your mind, and Pisces represents, the right brain side. And so that's where you get the, the daydreaminess, the subconscious, spacing and blanking out sometimes, and the miscommunication sometimes, just because naturally, they're operating from kind of a different place. And, I will say if you're a Pisces, and you're less aware of that, you definitely do have to learn to, improve your communication most definitely, and your expression, because again, as a water sign, you're going to be emotional, but it sucks to be emotional and to feel like no one understands because you have trouble expressing yourself, right? Articulating how you feel. And so that's Neptune. I'm gonna do a separate series on planets and the energy of planets, planetary bodies, but that's Neptune in a nutshell. Can be seen as very confused sometimes, very, daydreamy, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Just very in another world, like otherworldly, like energy sometimes with Pisces. They kind of have to, be brought back down to earth sometimes. Very idealistic. And so with Jupiter, a lot of the same, similar themes. Again, the only main difference I would say is Jupiter, as being seen as one of the benefic planets in astrology, can definitely help to bring abundance and help Pisces to attract, right, whatever it is they're trying to bring into their life, and that can make them probably be seen as more lucky. And definitely I would say the Jupiter influence, because Jupiter is like the original, right, the original ruler before the outer planets like Uranus and Neptune and Pluto and all these things were pretty much discovered. But Jupiter's influence still, like I said, plays a big part in the Pisces archetype and personality as well too. So if you're a Pisces, get familiar with both. Okay, so Pisces rules the 12th house. Again, when you think 12th house, think subconscious, think isolation as well. Pisces can kind of go into like this hermit mode sometimes, where they have to spend a lot of time by themselves, right, in order to get everything together. And honestly, everyone kind of has to do that at some point in life, but that's literally that 12th house energy, right, that you have to learn to incorporate. Sometimes you do have to be alone, like isolation is necessary. And the 12th house is also closely related to hospitals, right? Pisces do have like a very healing air to their nature as well, very compassionate. But hospitals, mental, like asylums, mental homes, again, with the Neptune rulership, Pisces can become like delusional sometimes, and and probably labeled as like schizophrenic, like autism, like all these things. Like, I'm not to say that mental illness isn't a real thing, because it most definitely is. But being a Pisces, being a Sag, more, again, subconscious oriented, more spiritual sign, you could definitely, end up being seen as someone with mental illnesses, even if you might not have any mental illnesses, right? Just because you can be so tapped in, spiritually, and unaware of it, right? But yeah, that's the 12th house. Did I say prison? No, I don't think I said prison, but prison's also associated with the 12th house too, excuse me. And if you like notice, prison, like hospitals and mental asylums, like they all have like this isolation theme in common. At least in my opinion, if I think about those places, you're probably alone in any of those places. Like a nursing home as well. Pisces, the 12th house is associated with loss and endings and death, because death is kind of like the final chapter where you die and you transcend, right? Transcendence has a big role to play in the 12th house too. So I would say travel, most definitely, because of the Jupiter aspect, but also with Pisces, and you talk about the travel aspect of it, right? Okay, it's not really like on a physical level. Okay, when you think Pisces and you think travel, think like astral projection or dream work or something like that. Like traveling more so on the subconscious sense, if that makes sense, right? Going like out, stepping outside of yourself, outer body experiences. That's Pisces energy. If you're Pisces, you might be naturally gifted at things like that, dream work, astral projection, things of that nature, transcendental meditation, in order to reach higher states of consciousness. Like, experiment with all that stuff. But the duality, not to go on a rant, I'm sorry, but the duality is feminine, naturally feminine, with the Pisces energy as a water sign, most definitely, very feminine. Even though as individuals, everyone does have natural levels of masculine and, feminine energy. As a water sign, again, Pisces are most definitely more so on the feminine side naturally. So the mode and the element in astrology, there's 3 modes, right? You have cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And with the elements, there's water, fire, earth, and air. Now, elements and modes are basically just ways of gaining deeper insight, right, to the personality. That's all it really is. So with mutable, think flexible, changeable, adaptable energy. Mutable signs are usually the most resourceful, because they are good at adapting. And with water, think, again, the subconscious mind, think spiritual, think emotional, think highly intuitive, think highly creative. And when you put that together with Pisces, the mutable with them being mutable water, you get someone who can be very moody, whose disposition can change often, right? They can be very indecisive. Again, like, confusion is very prevalent with the Pisces energy, all right? The indecisiveness can lead to confusion and states of delusion as well. So you definitely have to be, clear with yourself mainly, but with other people too, about how you feel as a Pisces, right? So that you can heal yourself and, learn to help heal others. And so the body part, excuse me, you have the feet and the liver. Pisces, rules the feet and the liver. And, well, I should have said teeth as well, but and with the liver, definitely a big influence there. So if you do drink, because with the Pisces energy being addicting as well, like addictions also fit into the 12th house. So with the whole liver thing, definitely try not to overdo it if you drink. Like I said, I should have put teeth on there as well, because like a little funny thing about Pisces, I guess sometimes you can kind of like tell when someone has a lot of Pisces energy, because they can have like snaggle teeth, or maybe like you get what I'm trying to say, like a weird tooth or some shit, like not out of place, but like you could just tell, like a crooked smile. That's what I'm thinking about. Like they might have like a crooked smile, and I don't know like what the cause of that is, But that's just something like I noticed, and also something like, I learned. But yeah, moving right along to the chakra, you have the sacral and the third eye. The sacral chakra, excuse me, is heavily associated with creativity as well as sexual energy, but most definitely creativity, because those two energies are definitely one and the same. Pisces people can naturally be very artistic, especially musically inclined, like very musically gifted. The Pisces, the Sag as well, but very musically gifted. The third eye, I have the third eye on here because, like I said, they could be very intuitive, and your third eye or your pineal gland is basically responsible for extrasensory perception and psychic abilities and what you would call intuition. So with the colors here, we have navy blue and white. The color blue, it's definitely one of those more calming colors, and navy blue, being like a darker blue, is definitely a more soothing tone, like for the mind. It's not really one of those mentally stimulating colors, but it can help to alleviate stress, right? And that's you know uh always a good thing. So my bad, my mind like literally just went like blank, had a brain fart just now. My bad. My apologies. So I have the color white on here as well because white represents faith and purity as well. And when you think 12th house and you think Neptune, right? Pisces can be sometimes that, even though they're not, I don't want to say like they're always delusional or they're crazy or something, but they do, tend to have a lot of faith in themselves, or they can develop a lot of faith in themselves. They usually do, throughout life, and that can make them seem kind of like delusional or crazy, but really it's just faith. Like really it's just, that belief in yourself that you can do, whatever it is that you're setting your mind to and that you are passionate about. So the color white, has always been used to kind of represent faith, right, and purity. So the crystal and the gemstone, I have aquamarine here. Aquamarine is blue. Again, the color blue is associated with the throat chakra. And so, the color of things, right? Like flowers, herbs, like crystals, even like foods, certain like fruits and vegetables, like the color of things can kind of like give you a hint as to like what part of like your body, what system, corresponds to. So like with aquamarine being blue, and just the frequency of the crystal itself, like definitely resonates with the throat chakra and can help you to develop and get better, right, at your communication skills, which is definitely big for Pisces energy, like huge for Pisces energy. I have yellow sapphire because, again, the color of yellow and again the frequency of sapphire, right, corresponds to your sacral chakra, and well, excuse me, your solar plexus, my bad. Yellow and yellow sapphire, excuse me, yellow sapphire corresponds to your solar plexus chakra. And again, the solar plexus has a lot to do with your willpower and transmuting that fear and anxiety into courage. And that's definitely a huge obstacle that Pisces might have to overcome, is not being so, like, I'm not going to say they're fearful, right? Definitely not in the sense that Scorpio can be insecure, but they can worry and be anxious, as well, especially as a water sign and being naturally emotional, most definitely. So yellow sapphire can definitely help Pisces specifically with that and with balancing out their solar plexus. So moving on to the character traits, I have on the positive side, excuse me, I have creative, or I should say creativity. But Pisces people, like I said before, can be very creative naturally, very artistic, very musically inclined. They're very empathic, right? Again, they have a strong intuition, so they can definitely tell when something's not right, similar to Cancer. But it doesn't even have to be with, Cancer is kind of more prevalent when they, there's a bond and they actually, fuck with you on that level. But with Pisces, they literally can just walk in a room and absorb like everyone's like energy, everyone's emotions, and it can be so draining, right, for the person if you're a Pisces. So they have to spend a lot of time resting due to this and recharging. But they are naturally very empathic, and if they can learn to kind of, excuse me, hone that and use that to their advantage, and they can definitely do a lot of good, right? Very therapeutic, can become very, skilled healers. Um, Generous. I said generosity. They're very generous, right? I guess, generosity, fuck it, it's same shit. But Pisces people can be very generous. The Jupiter influence can make them out to be very giving people, but sometimes, again, that can be a bad thing because you can't just give your complete, everything, give yourself away, to people, especially if it's not going to be reciprocated. So they can be very generous, but don't, get taken advantage of, Pisces. Because as you can see on the negative side, I have naive, right? And again, that's kind of the dual side to that generous thing. That's what I was going for with the whole naive aspect of it, because they can definitely be misled, easier than most, because they can be overly trusting. And I have escapism on here because, like I said, with the daydreaming, it can be easily quickly turned into maladaptive daydreaming, excuse me. And that's definitely not, healthy, right? It's definitely not mentally healthy, and it's counterproductive. So, if you're not careful as a Pisces, you can be prone to escapism and just being in your head way too much. I have addiction and alcoholism on here, excuse me, because like I said before, addiction and, alcoholism, drug abuse, definitely mental health, right, period, definitely are all big 12th house themes. And so, like I said before, when I was talking about the liver influence, right, definitely don't overdo it on the alcohol. And, if you are struggling with addiction, talk to whoever you need to talk to if it's a problem, right? If it's not necessarily a problem, or even if you don't think it's a problem yet, right? If it's not as big as you feel like a deal as it could be or it might be, even still with that, just be mindful, because again, with the Pisces energy, Sagittarius as well, you know these things can quickly snowball, most definitely into something that is a lot harder to, deal with in the long term. So be aware of that, most definitely. But that was the 12 signs of the zodiac, right? Next, I'm going to be running through the planets and just, the energy, the general energy of the planets. I'm probably going to go into a little bit more detail, with the signs as well when I'm going over the planets. But yeah, that was the 12 signs of the zodiac. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you found this informative, which I know you did, right? Because I put a lot of thought into this shit. And yeah, stick along for the ride. I'm out.